आवाज आ रही है? अस्सलाम वालेकुम. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Today the topic is antibacterial agent, and this is the continuation of first lecture. Now you know that what is tuberculosis? It is a chronic infectious disease that is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis organism. And today the objective is you should know the name of the drug. Today is the second line. We divide the tuberculosis drug into the first line therapy and the second line. Today is the continuation of the first lecture, and today is the second line anti-tuberculosis drug. And you know the first line tuberculosis drug is also called as standard drug. And while the second line anti-tuberculosis drug is called as reserve drug. The objective is you should know the first line therapy. You should know the name of the second line therapy drugs, what are its mechanism of action, pharmacokinetic, how it is absorbed, metabolized, excreted in the urine, and what are the clinical uses of the drug, drug interaction, and contraindication of the drug. So you know the first line therapy, they consist, or we call it as standard drug, and they are consist of 4 drugs: isoniazid, rifampin, ethambutol, streptomycin, and pyrazinamide. While the second line therapy drug called as a reserve drug, that is the para-amino salicylic acid, capreomycin, cycloserine, ethionamide, kanamycin, fluoroquinolone. They consist of the ciprofloxacin, floxacin, moxifloxacin, gatifloxacin, and the rifabutin. And what is the difference between first and 2-line therapy? First line is very cheap, taken orally, more efficacious as compared to 2line. They are expensive and more toxic. And the first line therapy is least toxic. And second line therapy, they are used when the first line drug failed to produce response, or if the organism are resistant to those drugs. The first line therapy, ethambutol. So I go through. Start with para-amino salicylic acid, because all these are we have discussed in the previous lectures up till streptomycin. So you should know what are its action, what are its mechanism of action, what are its side effects. Because this topic is very important, come in the Viva and auspice stations and in PCQ. So you should know each and everything in details. We go to the para-amino salicylic acid, because we have discussed these in previous lectures. Okay. Now the second line therapy, or we call it drug. First is the para-amino salicylic acid. Okay, structurally it is similar to the sulfonamide. You should know the mechanism of action of sulfonamide. So like sulfonamide, para-amino salicylic acid are competitively folate synthetase enzyme. What it work? Para-amino salicylic acid, they competitively inhibit folate synthesis enzyme, and in this way they prevent the formation of tetrahydrofolic acid. And you know the tetrahydrofolic acid is necessary for the growth and multiplication of the bacteria. It means the para-amino salicylic acid is a bacteriostatic agent. It means they inhibit the growth of the bacteria. folic acid synthesis. How they inhibit? By inhibiting the enzyme folate synthesis. In this way, because the tetrahydrofolic acid is necessary for the synthesis of growth and multiplication of the bacteria, so they inhibit this enzyme. And how it is absorbed? When given orally, it is well absorbed and it is rapidly distributed in the body, except cerebrospinal fluid. It means they poorly penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and where it is metabolized in the liver by acetylation process. And you know what is acetylation? It is a phase 2 type of the reaction, metabolic reaction. Okay, it is excreted in the urine, or it is given in the combination of therapy, not given alone, otherwise produce the resistance. Another important point, para-aminosalicylic acid, they inhibit or reduce the absorption of rifampicin from the gut. How? They competitively inhibit the acetylation of isoniazid. It means what are its mechanism of action? Pharmacokinetics. What are its pharmacokinetic? They are metabolized by acetylation process. In this way, there's a drug interaction. They inhibit the acetylation of isoniazid. It means they competitively inhibit the acetylation of the isoniazid. So thus, they increase the plasma level of the isoniazid. And in this way, they prolong the half-life of the isoniazid when given with a combination, not alone. When it is given with a combination of the isoniazid, they increase its level of isoniazid, para-aminosalicylic acid. At present, the para-aminosalicylic acid is reserved for the management of multi-drug resistance tuberculosis. And what are its common adverse effects? Or you can the side effects of the para-aminosalicylic acid is the GIT disturbances, that is anorexia, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal discomfort. And how it is minimize these symptoms? By giving the drug in divided doses or in full stomach. It is not given in empty stomach. In this way, we reduce the GIT symptom. And other side effects of the drugs are fever, skin rash, thrombocytopenia, and it rarely can cause the hepatitis when you compare with the other drugs. And especially they can cause the GIT and the hemolytic anemia. The patient who have a glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenesis. Excretion of the para-aminosalicylic acid is increased when the urine is alkaline. So these are all the side effects of the para-aminosalicylic acid. Similar to sulfonamide, you know that's what is the mechanism of sulfonamide. They inhibit the folate enzyme. So para-aminosalicylic acid competitively they inhibit the folate synthesis enzyme. In this way, they prevent the formation of tetrahydrofolate. You know that is necessary for the growth and multiplication of the bacteria. So it means it has a tuberculostatic effect, and kinetic, it absorbed orally after oral administrations and distributed all over the body. This poorly penetrate the brain barrier. What are its kinetic? It is metabolized in the liver by acetylation phase 2 reaction and excreted in the urine. And when we give in the combination therapy, para-aminosalicylic acid, they reduce absorption of the ampicillin from the and competitively inhibit the acetylation of the isoniazid. This way we increase the level of the isoniazid. And what are the side effects? It has a GIT effect. Okay, para-aminosalicylic is also called crystal urea. So its level is especially increased in the renal failure. And second drug is the ethionamide. Structurally, it is similar with the isoniazid, but it is less efficacious as compared to the isoniazid, more efficacious. This is the less efficacious. The mechanism is unknown. Again, synthesis of the mycolic acid. Drug is well absorbed to the gut, widely distributed body, and or including the CSF when you compare the para-aminosalicylic acid. Again, they inhibit the acetylation process of the isoniazid, increases half-life like the para-aminosalicylic acid. And it is mainly excreted in urine. And common adverse effect is produce the GIT, disturbances, hepatotoxicity, visual disturbances, and peripheral neuropathy. And occasionally it reported hepatitis. So it has an eye symptom, blur vision, paresthesia, but it can rarely can cause convulsions. So this is the ethionamide, structurally similar to the isoniazid. Mechanical action is unknown, but it blocks the synthesis of mycolic acid. Another drug is the cycloserine. It is again the second line antituberculous with the bacteriostatic activity. It means they inhibit the growth of the bacteria and widely distributed after oral administrations. Again, the mechanism inhibit the cell wall synthesis. Bacterial, it inhibits the bacteria cell wall synthesis, and it is metabolized in the liver, and both metabolites and the parent drug, they are excreted in urine. Okay, they are the side effects: peripheral neuropathy, CNS disturbances, and epileptic seizures may increases if patient have epileptic patients. The CNS symptoms, what are the CNS symptoms? They include the headache, tremor, vertigo, confusion, psychosis, and convulsion. Third is the cycloserine. Fourth one is the capreomycin. It is a peptide protein synthesis inhibitor. Again, the bacterial resistance can never when it is given alone. To prevent the bacterial resistance, we give in the combination form, not alone. And the capreomycin is used with other antituberculous drug in the treatment of pulmonary tuberculosis. And the route of administration is IM. It is used only when other antituberculous agent cannot be tolerated. Patient cannot be tolerated. Positive organism become resistant. In that case, we use. And the adverse effect, side effect that is associated with the hearing loss, taking urea. Eosinophilia is common. leukocytosis, skin rashes, and fever is also observed in patients. And the injection is very painful. This is the disadvantage. And fifth group is the quinolones. Again, this is the inhibitor of the nucleic acid synthesis, or we called as fluoroquinolones, nucleic acid synthesis inhibitor. And they are highly effective. Fluoroquinolone are highly active against the Mycobacterium tuberculosis as well as atypical Mycobacterium. And these are the important component of the treatment of the multi-drug resistance. The patient are resistant to the other drug. And they are the synthetic antimicrobial. Structurally, it is related to the nalidixic acid. And what is the mechanism of actions? Quinolone block the bacterial DNA synthesis by inhibiting the bacterial DNA guidase. What is the mechanism action? Quinolone block bacterial DNA synthesis by inhibiting the bacterial DNA guidase enzyme. You know, this enzyme is necessary in the DNA replication. That's why it is a bactericidal effect. They are rapidly bactericidal effect. An example of the drugs are gatifloxacin, moxifloxacin, ciprofloxacin, norfloxacin, levofloxacin, lomifloxacin. But here is the two active agent, that is the gatifloxacin and moxifloxacin are more active and least likely to development of the quinolone resistance. So what is mechanism of action? They block the bacterial DNA synthesis by inhibiting the bacterial DNA guidase enzyme, and you know this enzyme is involved in the DNA replication. So they inhibit the DNA replication. In this way, they have a bactericidal effect. And what are its pharmacokinetics? Antibacterial agent. They are effective against the gram-negative and gram and bacilli, including the Enterobacter, Pseudomonas, Haemophilus influenzae. So you should know the antibacterial spectrum. They are also effective against the gram-positive cocci, that is streptococci, staphylococci, pneumococci. So what are its pharmacokinetic? Absorption. Quinolone are usually absorbed after oral administrations, and the bioavailability is greater for the ofloxacin and lomeflin. IV preparations of the ciprofloxacin and the ofloxacin are available. And again, there is a drug interactions. Quinolone, they interact with sucralfate, antacid, dietary supplement that containing the iron, zinc. They can interfere its absorption. So you should know the drug interaction of the quinolone with sucralfate, antacid, and the dietary supplement containing iron or zinc. So should be not given along with. And the metabolism and excretion, 20% of the quinolone, fluoroquinolone metabolized by the liver, while the 80% are excreted by tubular secretions by tubular filtration methods. So dose adjustment is required in renal failure because the 80% of the drug are excreted by glomerular filtration. And what are the clinical uses of fluoroquinolone? It is used in UTI infection. Other uses. First is the Mycobacterium tuberculosis multi-drug resistant. Second, it is used in the UTI infection. It is used in bacterial gastroenteritis. It is also used in the soft tissue, bone, joint, and skin infection. They also use in gonorrhea. In tuberculosis, the two drugs are used, ciprofloxacin and ofloxacin, as a second line agent. And it is also used for the prophylaxis of meningitis. And what are the side effects of the quinolones? It is the CNS effect that include the headache, nausea, and while it can cause the nephrotoxicity and can cause the crystal urea. And photosensitivities, especially with lomifloxacin. Okay, drug interaction. When we use concomitant theophylline and quinolone, they lead its levels and increase level of the it means drug interaction with theophylline. The contraindication, it is not given under the age of 18 years or in pregnant women and lactating women, because it secreted in milk also. So this is a contraindication. Another side effect is the quinolone also damage the growing cartilage and cause arthropathy. So that's why it is contraindicated under the age of 18 years. And sometimes it also called the tendinitis. That can lead to the tendon rupture. This is all about the quinolones. You should know important drug regarding tuberculosis, regarding inhibitor of the nucleic acid synthesis. So you should know what is the mechanism of name of the drugs, what are its pharmacokinetics, what are its side effects, and what are its clinical uses. Now the chemotherapy of the tuberculosis. You know, the tubercle bacilli is a very slow growing organism and it remains reside in macrophages. So most of the cannot enter into the cells and inhibits its growth. Tubercle bacilli develop resistance frequently when treatment of tuberculosis by one drug. So you prevent the drug resistance, treatment must be include at least two drugs to which the bacteria are sensitive. And for uncomplicated tuberculosis, pulmonary tuberculosis treatment should be given for at least 6 to 9th month. And for complicated cases, the duration of treatment may be prolonged. Now, a standard 6-month program. Ask in the Viva what are the schedules of the 6-month program of the tuberculosis. So initially we give 2 drugs. 4 drugs for 2 months and 2 drugs given for the next 4 months. So what are the 4 drugs that is given for 2 months? Isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and plus pyridoxines is given for 2 months. And the next 4 months we give 2 drugs, isoniazid, rifampin. And why we give the pyridoxine? Because to prevent the typhoid that is caused by isoniazid. And the 9th month programs, uncomplicated, complicated cases. So initially 2 months we give the 4 drugs, and next 7 months we give 2 drugs. So initially 4 drugs, that is isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide, and the next 6-7 months we give 2 drugs, isoniazid and rifampin. We also add the pyridoxine to decrease or to prevent the peripheral neuropathy. And there's again some drug they are available. Again, the atypical, you know, what is the atypical? Mycobacteria, that is the Kansasi, non-tubercle, non-leprosy. So less severe than tuberculosis, atypical myco, less susceptibility to antituberculous drugs. In that case, we also give the drug, we also include the macrolide, sulfonamide, and tetracycline. Combination of therapy. Another treatment is the Mycobacterium avium complex, MAC. That consists of the Mycobacteria avium intracellulari. And it is occur in the later stage of AIDS. The treatment again given combination. But this is from your point of view, this is not important. You should only know the complicated cases and uncomplicated of pulmonary tuberculosis. Again, this is the combination of drug ethambutol, ciprofloxacin. Dose is not important from your point of view. Okay. So what is the classification of the drug of the antitubercular first line therapy? They have isoniazid, rifampin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, and streptomycin. Or we also call that standard drug. What is the difference between first line therapy and second line? First line is cheap, more efficacious, and least toxic, and mostly use oral route. And second line antitubercular drugs we are also called as reserve, are more toxic, costly drugs, and especially given IV route. What are those? Is the para-aminosalicylic acid, cycloserine, ethomycin, kanamycin, capromycin, ciprofloxacin, and the moxifloxacin, gatifloxacin, and clarithromycin, azithromycin, rifabutin, and rifapentin. These are the new drugs, rifabutin and rifapentin. This is a MAC infection, Mycobacterium avium tuberculosis. So he is in combination with other drugs. AIDS, tinnitus, adverse effect of the macrolides. Here we use in this way treatment regimes depending on the duration of the treatment. We again divide short-term and long-term therapy. Short-term is the 6 month and long-term is the 6 to 9 months. According to the WHO guidelines for the treatment of tuberculosis, we also use the DOTS, directly observed treatment with short, this is a short course. And this is a revised National Tuberculosis Control System, RNTCP, that is launched in 1997. Under this program, directly observed treatment, short course chemotherapy is being implemented. Okay, it is a thrice a week regime is followed by DOT. And in DOT, the patient is administered drug under the supervision of healthcare or trained person to ensure that the drug are actually consumed. This therapy must be supervised by again the bacteriological examination. And you know the DOT is a backbone of RNTCP. What is RNTCP? Is the revised National Tuberculosis Control Programs. And what are its aim? To ensure the patient compliance and preventing the emergencies of the drug-resistant tuberculosis. So these are the WHO guidelines for the treatment of tuberculosis. And it is being given on the patient who has compliance. And second is again the multi-drug resistance tuberculosis. Resistant, it means the resistance can occur to both isoniazid and rifampin or to any other drug. More than 2 drugs patient have developed resistance, we call it as multi-drug resistant, MDRL. And the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis can be treated by standard or individualized treatment. And again, there is an important point regarding the tuberculosis treatment in HIV patient. It's same as HIV patient tuberculosis, short course therapy must be started immediately once tuberculosis is diagnosed. So we, especially here, we use the rifabutin over the rifampicin in HIV patient, or that is on retroviral drug, because it does not interact with antiviral drugs. So that's why we give rifabutin. And another is important point is the tuberculosis in pregnancy. If patient is pregnant and tuberculosis, so we give the isoniazid, rifampin, and ethambutol, because these three drugs are safe in pregnancy. What are the drugs? Isoniazid, rifampin, and ethambutol. Okay, here we have finished our topic. Now we summarize the first line therapy and second line therapy. I have given the name to now we go through the isoniazid. It is a first line therapy. Okay, what are widely used anti-tuberculosis drug given orally? Mechanism of action: they inhibit the biosynthesis of the mycolic acid. And you know the mycolic acid is essential constituent of the mycobacterial cell wall. And it is a rapidly absorbed from the gut and distributed all over the body. In the body fluid, saliva, CSF, pleural fluid, and it is metabolized by acetylation. And metabolites are excreted in urine. And again, the acetylation of the isoniazid is under genetic controls. That is the rapid acetylator and the slow acetylator. And what are the adverse effects? Is the peripheral neuritis and hepatitis. And the second drug is the rifampin. Again, the semisynthetic antibiotic that is obtained from the Streptomyces mediterraneae. It is a first line therapy. It killed both the bacteria, extracellular, intracellular bacilli. Okay, in the start of the lecture, we have decided the three types of the bacilli. One is the extracellular, second is the intracellular bacilli, and third is the dormant form, or we call it as persister. Extracellular bacilli mean they present on the cavity, as well as they are rapidly multiplying bacteria. And intracellular, that is present in the macrophages, and they are slow growing bacteria. And the persistent, or we call it as dormant form, they are present in the central caseous lesions and remain inactive for some people. So drugs which are effective for the extracellular bacilli, that is all the anti-tubercular drugs are effective, while the intracellular bacilli, isoniazid, rifampin, and pyrazinamide are effective. While in the persistent or dormant form, rifampicin is the most effective agent. So what is the mechanism of action of rifampin? They inhibit the bacterial DNA-dependent RNA polymerase. An adverse effect is the hepatitis, skin rashes, and GIT symptom. And another important point of the rifampicin is a potent enzyme inducers. So it means they interact with, especially the drug interaction of the rifampin with oral contraceptive, oral anticoagulant, oral antidiabetic, HIV protease inhibitor, and non-nucleoside reverse transcript inhibitor, digoxin, quinidine, propanol, corticosteroid. They also induce its metabolism. And the third one drug is the pyrazinamide. This is a first-line therapy. First-line therapy. Pyrazinamide is a synthetic analog of the nicotinamide. It has a tuberculocidal activity. It means they kill the bacteria. Like isoniazid, pyrazinamide would also inhibit the mycolic acid biosynthesis. And the adverse effect of the pyrazinamide is it can cause the dose-related dependent hepatotoxicity. Again, they impair the excretion of the urate. The contraindication, the patient who have a hyperuricemia. Otherwise, it precipitates the uric acid. So, what are the contraindications of pyrazinamide? Not given in gout. And streptomycin, you know, the streptomycin is the aminoglycoside, and that is the protein synthesis inhibitor. It is a bactericidal drugs. The adverse effects are the ototoxicity, nephrotoxicity, and neuromuscular blockage. And the last is the ethambutol. This is again the first line therapy. This is an anti-tuberculous drug, first line. It inhibits the arabinosoil transferase enzyme that are involved in the mycobacterial cell wall synthesis. It means the ethambutol is a bacteriostatic actions. Again, kinetic is the well absorbed after oral administration, distributed widely in the body, metabolized in the liver, and excreted in the urine. And the most common side effect and adverse effect, the optic neuritis, seen with the ethambutol, and how they characterize by decreased visual acuity, color vision defect, and central scotoma. You prevent by the periodic eye examination is necessary when the patient is on ethambutol. Again, it also called they can cause the excretion of the uric acid. And side effects are nausea, vomiting. First is the optic neuritis. Second is the nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, skin rashes, itching, and joint pain. Okay, this is all about the anti-tuberculous drug. Any question regarding? Well, we have finished. Any question?